This weekend was an opportunity to go back to my hometown, Prattville, Alabama, spend a few days at my mother's house, or grandmommy, if you ask my daughter, which is cool because we hadn't really had the chance this summer. We'd have some other travel that popped up and kind of interrupted what was our normal summer routine. So to get to go spend a couple days there. Butter beans. Casserole. You know, I would say that your mom's house is the one place where it's totally okay to overeat.
Sure.
Swimming in the swimming pool, see our close relatives. My daughter get to play with her cousins, twin boys, Jack and Chris. And then to kind of get to go spend a little time walking around downtown with my wife and Beth. And the historical significance of the place, Prattville, Alabama, it's named after Daniel Pratt. He was a guy who was born in 1799. He lived to be, I think it was like 73 years old, something like that. But he was originally from New Hampshire, and up there in New Hampshire in the early 1800s, as a young guy, he started working at a cotton gin plant. Now, it wasn't a cotton mill. It was a place where they produced and sold and shipped cotton gins for, producing cotton products. The story is, anyway, he had suggested to his boss there in New Hampshire that they expand their business and move to the south and maybe go to parts of Alabama. His boss initially said yeah, and then he decided to change his mind. He wasn't going to do it. So Daniel Pratt, in about 1830 or so, just left and decided to go do it on his own. So he moved to Alabama, right there in Autauga County, right there on that creek. I think it's Autauga Creek, but don't quote me on that. And set up shop and eventually built what became the Pratt Gin Factory, where they produced and sold and shipped cotton gins from right there, and built a whole town around it. And that was in 1838. Obviously, the Civil War had a big effect on their business. A lot of their employees left to go fight in the war. Business was, coming to a screeching halt because of the war. But the story goes that he, with his ties to the North, being from there, and his ability after the war during Reconstruction to go and begin collecting those debts from those people that they owed him since before the war, it got that local economy back going, built around that cotton gin factory right there in Prattville in construction, and actually began to do pretty well. So anyway, there's a little bit of the history. It's a really cool spot, and the city of Prattville's done a great job kind of turning all that into a little scenic, historic spot, marking it so that people can read about it and learn more about it. So just need to go see it. So that's downtown Prattville, Alabama, named after Daniel Pratt. Now I'm going to drive over and see the football stadium that I played in high school. It's called Stanley Jensen Stadium. So Stanley Jensen Stadium, this is where I played high school football in the 90s. And the stadium hasn't changed much, but they have artificial turf. But what's cool about this is right there is the church that my dad pastored when I was a little bitty guy, 2-3 years old. And we lived in a trailer like right up here up the road. And so he would put me on his shoulders, and we'd walk down here, and he'd come in the game. And we moved back here when I was in the 9th grade, and I got to play football here in high school.